Guidance is internal. Ignition sequence starts. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Permission to board. Permission to come aboard. Permission to board. Permission to bring me aboard. Permission to come aboard.
Welcome to the Permission Granted podcast. Here's DA.
Welcome back to the freshest edition of the Permission Granted podcast, everybody. Thanks for being with us. DA with you. Mraz will join me coming up in a little bit. A little reminder, this is all off of the air content you can't get on the show. It's part of the same feed on our SoundCloud and iTunes page, but this one also gets embedded into our Facebook page, facebook.com/The DA Show, and then also on YouTube, youtube.com/The DA Show as well. It's summertime. Summertime movies are here. It's now after July 4th, and I wanted to go inside the summer movies of 2015. And who else would I talk to except my good friend, 98.5 The Sports Hub, Boston Globe, Boston.com, cinephile, Adam Kaufman, who joins us here on the show. Kauf, how are you?
Let's be honest, that last one's probably the most important. It's what got me here.
It's the only thing that really you bring to the table.
Well, I love the Permission Granted podcast. I've been on before. I consider myself blessed to be a two-time guest, but at the same time, you know, I got to wonder just a little bit. Am I just working my way up to the DA show? I mean, is this like the minor leagues for me? What am I doing here?
Well, you've done updates on the show, and we've had you on to do, when you've done that in studio, to do some cinematic stuff.
That's true, I guess. But you know what? I suppose not enough time with you is enough, right?
Yeah, probably. When are you going to come back down to NYC and do a few updates for us?
Not soon enough, man. Not soon enough. Soon as I can.
All right. So let's start with Jurassic World. I have not seen this. This is out right now. I know you haven't seen this. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Adam Kaufman's going to see Jurassic World.
Thumbs up that I will see it at some point. I would say thumbs down as of right now that I'm going to be able to see it in the theater, which automatically just it kind of sucks, right? Because this is just one of those movies that you feel like you sort of have to see in a theater experience on a big screen, maybe even in the IMAX, and that's probably not going to happen for me, unfortunately. But I'm intrigued by the movie. See, the thing about me is that this is what I mean. Technically, Jurassic Park 4, I think it is. Not that
yes,
people really
correct.
think much beyond.
Yes.
Yeah, people don't think much beyond the very first one. Obviously, one of the more iconic movies of our generation, and people sort of ignore 2 and 3. But I don't know. I'm hoping the reboot does well. I think Chris Pratt will be good for it. I know the special effects are going to be out of this world, but these dinosaur movies can be really hit and miss.
I saw the trailer. And the trailer got me a little worried when guys are talking to velociraptors and trying to communicate with them. And then you've got Chris Pratt on a motorcycle driving away or along with the other raptors or the dinosaurs. And I said, ooh, I don't know about this. But it's getting really good reviews. It's bringing in a lot of box office money, not always a great gauge. But I've heard from people that I really respect that it's really good. So this will be a thumbs up. I will see this in the theater. Why won't you?
It's just not at the top of my list among movies that are out or will be out this summer that I'd like to see. You know, you don't have to go through this, DA, and I'm presenting it like a negative. It's really a positive. But when you're a family man, when you got a wife and a couple of kids,
yes,
and you know you're not as free to go out to the movies as you once were. You know me, I like to hop. If I could go to a movie theater and spend the day, see 3-4 movies, that's like my haven. That is a blissful day. But those days are very few and far between now, my friend.
What do you think about Ant-Man? Now, this is coming out in a couple of Fridays from now. It's getting some buzz right now. I'm a big Paul Rudd fan, but I don't love Paul Rudd as a superhero. Are you buying Ant-Man?
I'm echoing what you just said. I love Paul Rudd. I can't even tell you how much I enjoy the guy in his movies, generally comedies. And I know that this one, not unlike so many of the other Marvel movies, is going to have a comedic spin to it. He's going to be witty. He's going to be funny. There'll be those one-liners. But I don't like him as a superhero. He's one of a lot of actors I don't like as superheroes. And the first time I saw a trailer for this movie, and I think it was it was really when it was the teaser that came out, even before the full trailer. The first thought that popped into my head was Daredevil. And not the good Netflix series Daredevil.
No, the bad Ben Affleck Daredevil.
Terrible Ben Affleck Daredevil. And I'll probably, out of sheer curiosity, wait and see it when it, hits Redbox or wherever. But there's no way this movie is getting my money in the theater.
Wow,
no
okay.
chance.
All right, so Jurassic World is a thumbs down. Ant-Man is a thumbs down for you. Ant-Man is a sideways thumb for me. I may, if I have an extra day, I may not. It's not on my bucket list of having to see Jurassic World. I'm definitely going to see. Okay, next up, how about Pixels? This is the movie that's getting a lot of publicity with Adam Sandler and did during the NBA Finals. I guess it's like a video game thing, and he's got to save the world through video games and Donkey Kong. Thumbs up, thumbs down. What do you think on Pixels?
Pixels looks really cool. I mean, I'm skeptical, like so many other people, of Sandler movies at this point because it feels like
we've all been burned.
He generally just puts movies out at this point that are really kid friendly. Like other than That's My Boy, he hasn't done anything that has even attempted to resemble a Billy Madison, a Happy Gilmore, so many of those other movies. And I use the word attempted because obviously That's My Boy didn't achieve that feat.
No.
Yeah, but it tried. That was what it wanted to be, even though it failed miserably. The Pixels, it looks cool. I like the idea of Pac-Man being a bad guy and going around trying to gobble everybody up. I think it's a neat concept, but I almost kind of feel like it's a... And bear with me here, I guess, but I look at it and I watch the trailer and I'm thinking it's sort of like a Wreck-It Ralph with real people mixed in with the animation, obviously. And Wreck-It Ralph was if you didn't see it, it's a really good movie. Like, you can look at the trailer and be like, it's a kid movie. It's really not. It works for kids, but it very much works for adults as well. And I feel like this movie wants to be that with the video game spin, but it's not really going to do it.
So Wreck-It Ralph is one of my favorite movies of the last 5 years. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I thought it was brilliant. And now there's a huge part of nostalgia for me because I grew up playing Atari video games and Sega Genesis, and so much of that is about the 1980s Atari video games and going to arcades, which I did as a kid. So I absolutely loved Wreck-It Ralph. I agree this looks like a poor man's Wreck-It Ralph, but I'm interested. I'm intrigued. It's got the 80s Atari vibe. So this is a thumbs up. I will definitely see this in the theater.
Plus, and I haven't looked at the cast yet. I haven't gone like IMDb, but I wonder how many of Sandler's boys he's going to put in here. Is this going to be one of those where you see Peter Dante, who you and I both enjoy, or Rob Schneider, or David Spade, or Chris Rock, or I'm sure Kevin. I don't even have to look. I'm certain Kevin James is going to be in this movie because he's not doing anything else other than making Paul Blart, Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. So this Sandler, it's definitely going to have a lot of Sandler guys. Probably those two guys, Alan Covert and the other one with the lazy eye. These guys are definitely going to be in this movie.
Now, here's a movie I didn't even realize was coming out. This is coming out also in July. We're doing all the July movies right now. The reboot of National Lampoon's Vacation. I did not know they were doing this. I just saw an advertisement on the side of a bus stop today. It's Ed Helms as Chevy Chase's character, Christina Applegate as Beverly D'Angelo's character, and they're going to Wally World, apparently. Are you buying the Vacation reboot?
Listen, I don't want to do this to you on your show, but I'm going to have to for the sake of accuracy.
Okay.
You're slightly off in that it's not a total That's what I thought too when I clicked on the trailer, because I saw this was coming out and it was like, Vacation? We're doing this again?
Yeah.
But it's not a reboot. What it is it's the next generation of Griswolds. So Ed Helms is playing Rusty. He's playing his kid. Yeah. And they're Leslie Mann, I believe, is the one who's playing Audrey or Aubrey or whatever. I think it was Audrey. So it's the Griswold kids, because Chevy Chase is actually in the movie.
Okay.
So Clark has a little bit of a cameo, but it's got a good cast. It's got Christina Applegate as Ed Helms' wife. Chris Helmsworth is in it. It looks kind of funny, stupid funny as you would expect, but even dumber than the National Lampoon's movies, because it kind of has to be with this new generation of people just expecting more crude humor in order to be entertained. We're simplistic people these days.
That's right.
But it's I'm curious. I'm interested because I like those vacation movies.
I'm curious. I'm interested. I like Ed Helms, and I think Ed Helms playing Rusty is a really good casting idea. I'm just worried about ruining one of the movies that was so brilliant. I mean, I love the vacation movies. I absolutely love. I even love the European Vacation. I don't really love Vegas Vacation. I love them all besides Vegas. I'm skeptical on this. I just don't like where this is going. I hate the reboots that are going on in Hollywood.
You know, it's funny you say that because I was just July movies, summer movies in general. And I'm sure there are a couple more of these that we'll talk about, but just sort of quick hitting. It doesn't sort of feel like the summer of the reboot of the sequel. I mean, between Jurassic World and Magic Mike XXL, Ted 2, Terminator Genesis, Vacation, Pitch Perfect 2, Minions, kind of, because it's, off the Despicable Me movies. You got another Mission Impossible. You got the Entourage movie, which obviously goes off the TV show. I mean, there are a million of them.
Yeah, it's pathetic. It's pathetic because Hollywood has no good new ideas.
Where's the originality, DA?
It sucks. This is why I hate Hollywood. It sucks. It's all reboots. I mean, what's the biggest movie we're all looking forward to? The new Star Wars, just because they don't have any good new ideas. The Mission Impossible. Will you see this? I will not. I'm totally out on Mission Impossible. I saw the first two.
No, I'm done. I'm done with Mission Impossible. Exactly what you said. I feel like it's kind of rare, actually, that we agree on as many movies as we are, but I was out after Mission Impossible 2 also. I like it. And you know what? Aside from the crazy, I don't generally link the off-screen with the on-screen, so I don't have an issue with Tom Cruise and the whole Scientology and being nuts thing. I like Tom Cruise movies. I really do. I like him as an actor. I think it's cool that he does his stunts. He makes a lot of entertaining films, action movies especially. I'm just done with the Mission Impossible movies. I really am.
What is this? Is this the fourth or the fifth?
I think this is the fifth.
Because it's Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, so they're even beyond numbers at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
So this Fantastic Four also I'm not high on. They totally butchered the first two Fantastic Fours. They were so lame. They were so stupid. I mean, they were just so... Once I saw Plastic Man dancing in a disco, I said, I can't take this. I just can't. And then isn't the Human Torch also Captain America? The same? Isn't both Chris Evans?
Listen, don't even get me started on that. Do not get me started on that because I have such and I like Chris Evans. I really do. He entertains the hell out of me. I think he's funny. But generally speaking, this goes back to Hollywood's laziness. Hollywood wants to have this projection of the celebrity being the superhero, and so it keeps going back to the well. I mean, Chris Evans was Johnny Storm, and then he was Captain America. Ryan Reynolds was Deadpool, which he will be again, by the way, and then he was the Green Lantern. Ben Affleck was Daredevil, and now he's going to be Batman. And there are other examples of these reboots, and it's not necessary. When you have these no-name people that can come in and do a good job. I mean, say what you will about the Superman reboot a few years back, but Brandon Routh, whatever his name is, was good in it. He hasn't really done anything since, but he was pretty good. That Daredevil Netflix series I mentioned before, I literally could not tell you the name of the guy who plays Matt Murdock on the show, but he's awesome. And nobody has a clue who this guy is. And there are other instances of this as well. There are a bunch of them.
Yeah, Chris Evans, he wasn't a compelling enough Human Torch, let alone to do Captain America. I haven't liked the Captain Americas, but I really hate going back to the well with the same guys for this stuff. It's like there's no other actors in Hollywood. It's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah, I mean, let's dig a little, right? I mean, there are enough people that are interested in being superheroes in movies. I think you can find one capable.
Yeah. I don't know. So the final movie I'm going to ask you about is one that's a little under the radar, which I think both you and I might really, really like. Straight Outta Compton, the NWA story. How about this? Doing a full-length picture about NWA?
Dude, Cube's kid being in it, playing him too. This movie legitimately looks good. I mean, when I popped on the trailer, I was kind of thinking, all right, just don't disappoint me here, because you have a real opportunity to make something. And I'm not even kidding. I finished the trailer and then I watched it again. I was that into it, because obviously that's our generation of music, coming up in the 80s. Not that, not that we're street or straight out of Compton or anything like that.
We're
but
street, Cough, real street.
Look, listen, I know my place in this world, and I'm okay with it. But I can jam along to the music and put up my window and turn down the radio like Michael Bolton in Office Space while I'm hearing one of those songs, and recognize my place. But it's great music, and it's a really compelling story. I mean, it was groundbreaking what they did back then, those guys forming NWA and obviously going off onto their other careers as well. But I think getting a look at sort of behind the scenes and their relationship with the police and how their music originated, and it's, I mean, I'm rambling, but I'm into this movie for sure.
Well, here's the thing. You say a relationship with the police. I don't think there was a relationship there.
Well, when I say relationship,
from...
when I say relationship, I'm putting that, I'm giving that a positive connotation, which I don't mean to do.
Yes.
When I say relationship, I more mean there is a relationship. It's just not a positive one.
Right. Yeah, because, I mean, one of their most famous songs, Cough, is F the Police.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you said so, because I didn't know if we could say it here.
Yeah, well, we can say F. All right, so before I let you go, so pick 3 movies, even if you won't see 3 movies this summer, the 3 movies you will see. My 3 are going to be Jurassic World, Pixels, and then Straight Outta Compton. That will be my 3 I will definitely see. How about you?
Are we only going off the movies that we talked about?
No, go any of them.
Okay, well, because I will see Ted 2. I'm just, what can I tell you? I'm interested. I like the first one.
I like the first one too, but it feels like it's just going to be more of the same. I'm going to say, it's more of the same dick jokes. So I don't know. Do I need to see that?
Probably. Selfless, which is a movie that I think looks pretty cool with Ben Kingsley and Ryan Reynolds.
Oh.
Action flick where Kingsley is an old wealthy man who wants to live forever and basically puts his consciousness into the body of Ryan Reynolds. It turns into this whole like murder mystery type of situation. It looks interesting.
Okay.
So I'm going to put that one on the list. And you know what else looks awesome? And I'm leaving out movies that I'm actually interested in, like Entourage, like Pitch Perfect 2, believe it or not, that movie, first one, awesome. Third one, though, I'm going to put on Southpaw with Jake Gyllenhaal. I think looks terrific.
Looks good. It does, and Jake Gyllenhaal now has turned the corner in his career where he basically doesn't do bad movies. He does these kind of cool, under the radar. Southpaw's not really under the radar, but it's going to be intense, right? Like, what was the last one? Was it Nightcrawler that he did?
Yeah.
Nightcrawler, and he's now at the point where he's getting good roles, interesting roles. He's committing to them, and they're almost always worth watching.
Well, I mean, the word he used there, I think, is so accurate, which is he's committing to them. Not to say other actors don't, but I'm not going to put him in the like Daniel Day-Lewis category, who wins all these Oscars and once he's in character for a movie, literally never breaks it, whether he's doing a take or not. Jake Gyllenhaal is not that, but he is certainly a guy that, I mean, he commits to his role, as you said. Like you can tell that when he's making a movie, he just lives that role, and I admire that. He's
a good actor, man. He's committed. He's a good actor. He's cool. All right.
He is talented.
What's that?
Talented. Sister's not too bad either.
Yeah, Maggie's fine, but she wasn't great in the first Batman, was she?
No, I mean, that was such an irrelevant role.
Yeah. Okay, so Adam Kaufman, 98.5 The Sports Hub, Boston.com. Is your Twitter handle still at Adam F. M. Kaufman?
It is, sir.
Adam M. Kaufman.
I have to find that guy that said Adam Kaufman and steal it from him.
Kill him! Kill him. Kauf, it's always good to talk to you, brother. Thanks so much.
All right, buddy. Pleasure's mine.
All right, welcome back to the Permission Granted podcast, everybody. Mraz joins me now. Once again, you can always get us on both iTunes and SoundCloud. Both just use The DA Show, CBS Sports to search, and you'll find them. And you can subscribe for free. Also, we put these on our Facebook page, facebook.com/The DA Show, and youtube.com/The DA Show. Okay, Mraz, yesterday we on the show, we stumbled upon a real gold mine of craziness and creepiness. That is Dave Shepard, Shep, the producer of the Scott Ferrall Show, and his living situation.
It's a sitcom. It's a movie. It's the most unbelievable thing I've ever heard a real-life human I know tell me.
It's a sickness. It's a sickness because this guy lives a life of insanity and weirdness, and I really think this is a dangerous situation. He has moved on campus at NYU to get a good enough deal on an apartment in New York City. He is living with 3 other guys in a suite.
A dorm room suite. There's no way to sugarcoat it. He's living in a dorm.
4 guys, 2 bedrooms, dorm room suite. He shares one room with another guy, so there's no division between them. And the first night, he woke up in the morning, and his roommate was shirtless, staring at him.
Now, here's the thing. I've thought about this a lot. Maybe Shep's an obnoxious snorer, or maybe we're putting all the onus on this guy being creepy, shirtless, staring at him. Maybe this guy is so creeped out by Shep that he's making sure he doesn't get murdered while in the room.
Okay. Yeah, it's possible. Maybe Shep is a restless sleeper. But is it all possible since this guy wouldn't give Shep his name voluntarily? He would not tell Shep his name.
And Shep had to go to the bursar's office to get it.
To get it. He still has not voluntarily given up his name. Is it possible this guy is either dangerous or a sexual deviant?
I love the use of the word sexual deviant. I would say that there's it's at least possible.
It's at least in the conversation.
100% in the conversation, because that's weird anyway. Even if you meet the creepiest person and you got to live with them for a couple, you're gonna give them your name, or at worst, you're gonna throw them a fake name that you want to be called. You're not gonna give them nothing, right?
When Shep asks this guy for his name multiple times when they're living together, and he will not give Shep his name.
Especially the line, "We're roommates, bro."
That's what Shep said to this
guy.
Right,
exactly.
This guy is either a potential axe murderer, sexual deviant, something like this, with a really bad criminal background, or some dark skeletons in his closet, or he's worried about that with Shep, because there's no other reason you will actively live with a human being and withhold your own name.
There's no other way around it. Now, let's just say the roommate is the guy who's eventually going to end up in prison here, because it seems like it's one or the other.
Shep,
right?
by the way, is a full-time employee here at CBS Sports Radio for the Scott Ferrall Show, and a grown adult.
A grown adult.
As the context.
Grown adult who just went from his roommate being bedbugs to his roommate being this kid who's shirtless. The thing of it is, let's say Shep's roommate, tongue-in-cheek, hopefully we say this, commits some kind of horrific crime, right?
Against Shep?
Let's say not even against Shep.
Okay.
Let's say out on the streets of Manhattan, you never want this to happen. I'm going to preface that by saying, let's say it happens. Cops are then going to turn to the people closest to this guy to investigate.
Yeah.
And one would think they would turn to his roommate, who happens to be Shep, right?
Right.
So when the roommates go to interview Shep, when inevitably this could happen, and they ask Shep about this guy, Shep's not going to have any idea who he's talking about, because he doesn't know the guy's name, or didn't know it. And when he tells the people, well, I don't really know anything about him, I didn't even know his name, they're going to think Shep's covering up, and Shep inevitably ends up in prison because of this guy.
I would say I wouldn't be able to trust anything I ate at home, because you don't know if this roommate is poisoning your cereal.
Well, they're also in a dorm. It's not like, they're cooking in the oven all night. They have to go share a meal plan down at the cafeteria.
Well, so that means that Shep can't cook at his own place?
No.
He's got to eat out every night?
Have you noticed he's been mixing it up between the Mexican place and the Chinese place up the block here at 10 o'clock at night every night as his dinner?
Shep is also like 5'5", maybe. 5'7".
Anywhere between 5'4" and 5'7".
And he's thin, and he's kind of slouchy-shouldered and soft-spoken, and almost speaks in a whisper.
And dresses like all of our fathers.
But he's not a bad-looking guy. This whole thing fits. That, of course, Shep would be booted from his apartment because of bed bugs. They would break the lease on him when he didn't have another place to stay, he would be homeless, couch surfing, or sleeping at the studios for a week and a half, and then be forced to move in with a sexual deviant or borderline criminal.
Boy, we need the ding every time you say sexual deviant on this podcast.
At NYU. And the coup de grace is that we didn't even get onto this on the air. Shep has to take a class to get into this housing. He's a grown adult with a full-time job. He's not looking for another degree. And he's forced to take a class in career development.
Yeah, the name of the class is How to Get a Career.
He's got to take a class to be eligible for this roommate, for this housing, which is going to end horribly in some tragedy.
Right. So I guess the whole game of it is he says, the class only costs so much. Then I guess with room and board, it has to be on some kind of student loan, and that has to be kind of like the reason. Because he's going to save some money over the next month or two, and then hopefully be able to put down the money on a deposit on a lease. Because remember, he couldn't get the security deposit back. I've put this together in my head. That's his plan for September. So this buys him time enrolling in NYU summer courses, but only needs one course to room and board over the summer.
I think he's only good until August the 15th.
Right, exactly. Now, if this was fall or the spring semester, as we know in college, he would have to take at least 3 classes, 12 credits to be eligible to dorm. Summer, you only need 1. So that's how he's pulling this off. But the best part is you would think a guy who already has his full-time career, has already paved out his way in radio, would basically, okay, if this is his master plan, it's almost genius kind of, but not really. You would think he would just go sign in for attendance every day at this class and bolt. But he's taking the class seriously. He brought us the itinerary. He's going to be sitting there taking tests with everybody for a class he doesn't even need.
It's all of these problems for a month. It's for like 6 weeks of housing. Also, when he was homeless, he was dragging around a garbage bag filled.
Two clear garbage bags.
2 clear garbage bags, like recycling bags of just random household items that he was moving with. I mean, this guy is a complete mess right now. He's a mess.
He has evolved into a real-life Cosmo Kramer. This is something you would see Kramer do in Seinfeld, and it's almost like it's made up in my head. You can't make up what's going on here.
So how is this going to end?
Somebody's ending up dead, I think, right?
Something's going to end up with this guy, the roommate. The roommate's going to end up doing something, whether it's...
So basically, with this weird movie, how do we predict the ending? Is that what goes on here?
Is it possible the roommate ends up, like, hijacking a taxi cab at Box Cutter Point and, like, steals the taxi cab, then gets arrested, and then Shep has to testify or something like?
I got a prediction. I say the roommate is crazy. The roommate happens to be in the How to Get a Career class. And on the final,
the
roommate sits next to Shep and tries cheating off him. Shep, an honest man who doesn't need to, take the final, doesn't even need the class, gets angry at the roommate who doesn't even know his name for cheating. The roommate then pulls out a box cutter, turns into a hostage situation where Shep's the hostage over cheating on a final in a class that Shep didn't need to take to begin with.
Distinctly possible. I always go back to one instance I had with Shep that seems to tell the whole story, which is that we don't have any type of story on Shep, that Shep is some type of shadow man, that we don't really have a story on our grasp. I was at the Houston Street One Stop last year, 2 years ago, when we were doing the overnights, and I was coming in early for some reason. And I was on the subway platform, which is about, is that the Houston? I was on the stop where it connects with the L.
14th Street.
14th Street, trying to get to Houston. So I'm going south on the 1, and we're on the same platform, and I see Shep there. And I'm about to go over and say hi to Shep, because I'm thinking he's getting in earlier because they were working earlier than us at the time.
Right.
Shep gets on the train going the opposite way, going uptown. And I'm like...
Uptown funk you up.
Why would you be going away from the station when you have to go be... So later on that night, I was like, hey, Shep, I saw you at the train station before. He's like, no, you didn't, DA. And I'm like, yeah, I did. Where were you going? You were going the opposite direction. He's like, no, I wasn't going anywhere, DA. And I'm like, Shep, I saw you. I was about to say hello. Where were you going? And he would not tell me. He just kept denying that it was him. And I'm like, I know it was you. I said, you were wearing that same exact shirt. So either he, and this was more than a year into his employment, either he was still getting lost and embarrassed to tell me that he was going the wrong way.
Yeah, could be.
Or more than a year into his employment,
But this is Shep.
Or he was doing something. He was the deviant, and he was embarrassed to tell me. Why wouldn't you just tell me what happened there?
What Shep does in his life is a mystery, and I can only hope one day we all get to see it in a book and on the big screen.
Shep's story would be amazing. Shep's story would be amazing.
This is the true, and by the way, one more funny note to add about Shep yesterday is the producer had to ask him to come in studio to talk about his living situation. When I asked him to come in, I go, Shep, DA wants to have you on the air for a couple minutes, talk if you can. He goes, yeah, sure, no problem, man. What do you, talk the NBA with me? Shep, you're not David Aldridge, bro. No, we don't want to talk about the NBA with you. Yeah.
With all due respect, we're not going to you for your Roy Hibbert opinions here. So if anyone's looking for the full conversation with Shep in studio, that was our Tuesday night show. So that'll be that's July the 7th?
July the 7th, correct.
Tuesday, July the 7th, full show podcast. Check it out. Shep describing in first-person form his living situation, which is just completely, completely bizarre. All right, who are you talking to here on the podcast?
James Ward.
Ward's back in the mix.
James Ward is back in the mix. Several things to get into with Jimmy Boy, if you will.
Is it going to include the wienership?
Well, we discussed a little of that last week, but now it's a week removed, and I want to pitch to him a couple ideas I have as far as the wienership goes, and if things had went differently, could he have broken out? I want to see what kind of excuses James comes up with.
Okay. All right. That's good. James Ward coming up here. This is the Permission Granted podcast, all off of the air content available on SoundCloud, iTunes, Facebook, and YouTube.
All right. Welcome into Side B of the Permission Granted podcast. I am the executive producer of the DA show, Sean Mraz, joined by associate producer for the second straight week, a back-to-back and a belly-to-belly, Jimmy, James, Pretty Boy, Ward. James, what's up?
What's going on?
Well, me and DA were just talking about this in the transition side of what I needed to talk to you about. And now we are a week removed from wienership. We discussed last week on the podcast how much of a disappointment you were. And DA himself has come up with, behind the scenes, some scenarios as we look ahead already a year away from wienership 4. As we
preview Wienership 4, that's 11 months and 3 weeks out.
That's what Sports Talk in July will do to you. We talked behind the scenes of how we could better ourselves because did you watch the official Nathan's hot dog eating contest?
I did.
You did. Okay, now obviously big upset there. Matt Stoney defeats Joey Chestnut. Third place was Eater X Tim Janis. Beyond that,
who was basically half of what Joey Chestnut was. It was two guys and then everyone else.
I think he ate like 35 dogs. Point being, unlike going and finding the baseball standings, let's say on any website, you can't get the official count on the Nathan's hot dog eating contest anywhere. But you start doing the math and you start to look at just what third place had, and we know Badlands Booker wasn't in the top 5 because that was showing on the screen the whole time. Booker probably finished in the 20s. And he ate 20 with us without a problem. And this marks the second straight year he's kind of fizzled in the actual Nathan's eating contest after doing the wienership. Now, we saw that he could put him down. The truth of the matter is, Badlands Booker's probably slowing down in his career as a competitive eater. He's still a mammoth to us, and we witnessed it, and we witnessed the explosion. That being said, had we either had like normal boiled dogs like we had in Wienerships 1 or 2, or had the Nathans, really, the question is to be asked, James, would you have been able to do a better job because you were probably the weakest link holding us back?
I am very not happy with my performance.
Right, and you said
I had 3 hot dogs, and I didn't enjoy any of it. I love hot dogs, but I think I'm a little particular when it comes to the kind of dog that I like to eat.
Fair, which I could be too.
The dogs that we ate were not very good.
No, they were cheap street meat dogs.
And it was like street meat from one of those halal carts. It wasn't like a dirty water dog that's sitting in the steamer all day, still has a good snap, still has, a good bun. This was like a reheated dog on a grill with chicken and rice, lamb and rice combinations. The bun still had like some red sauce on it from like
it was a
marinating.
Stale bun.
Yeah, like crunchy.
Because I can tell you this. Now, I'm not sure what you did 4th of July weekend. I haven't gotten into this with you. But I know for DA's sake and I know my sake, as we discussed this off the air on Monday, me and DA, or DA and I'm sorry, as I should start speaking properly, that
if you're not going to start spelling properly, then don't worry about speaking properly.
Speak properly? Fair enough. We were putting down dogs this weekend at our individual barbecues. For instance, forget Saturday, because Saturday I was a fat disgrace. I was a chubby disgrace. I was a husky disgrace. The whole thing, 4th of July, eating like crazy. Sunday, I kid you not, I had 3 hot dogs. They were Sabrettes without blinking at lunch, and I put down another 2 at dinner. at 2 separate barbecues I had on Sunday. Okay, so that's 5 hot dogs. Granted, that's not in a 10-minute span, but the 3 were. I know the 3 I ate were in a 10-minute span. I ate them like nobody's business. Saturday, too, I was putting down hot dogs with like leftover taco dip my auntie made, like chili dogs, and they were going down like nothing. So, and I had only eaten 5 of these street meat dogs. So I really think the street meat dogs, I think we actually would have won this.
I know for sure when I first started living where I currently live on the Upper East Side,
right,
and walking across town to get to the train I take to get home, there was a hot dog vendor there. Many nights I've stopped for 2 hot dogs and eaten them in 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's nothing.
I just couldn't swallow the bun. And then I got discouraged because it wasn't like enjoyable to eat.
They're really.
I don't want to make excuses because I hate people that make excuses.
Right.
But
I'm thinking
we're at
out
a
loud
severe disadvantage with our hot dogs.
There definitely is, and I thought that, and we both thought that, and we discussed it the day after when we did the podcast last week on the Permission Granted podcast when we were on number, I guess 45. Are we on 46 now? I still don't know.
I think
the
we're
numbers.
on 46 now.
Okay, we had discussed that last week on 45, and you're right. But really, after watching myself eat, and DA had said the same thing on 4th of July weekend, something's up here. And something doesn't add up. So if you put those 2 numbers together and you add the fact that Booker is clearly declining versus the rest of competitive eaters, if we invite him back, he's not getting the 3-peat next year.
No.
I think we'll be a sexy pick next year.
I think we'll still be underdogs, but it'll be closer.
Vegas, you might get some money on us.
If we're doing money line, maybe Booker is a minus
3 dogs? He 20 to or 15.
20 to 15. So I think maybe
would probably minus a dog.
Yeah. It's not bad.
That's impressive.
I would probably take it.
Again, you won't hear a peep about the wienership during football season, so now we have to preview it 11 months ahead of time for the next wienership, or even 12 months, really. And that's going to wrap it up for the Permission Granted podcast. You can follow me on Twitter at MrazCBS, but I wouldn't recommend following me if you're a soccer fan. I've been really stirring them up lately. James, give me your Twitter.
You know the buttons to push, I think.
Hey, listen, I got a spoon. I'm going to stir the pot.
Twitter is James Ward CBS.
All right, you can check us out. Check out The DA Show, Facebook.com/The DA Show, SoundCloud, iTunes, the whole 9 yards, CBSSportsRadio.com. Go to DA on CBS.com. A lot of our on-air stuff there as well. Thank you guys for listening to Permission Granted Podcast 46. We approach 47 next week.
Let's hope it's actually 46.